That's exciting. And you stayed active after moving to Myrtle Beach in '84, Sally, you got active in a state Democratic Party pretty dang quickly.
I was local party chair in '92.
Okay.
And then served on the state executive committee for about 10 years or something after that. And again, continue to be involved with the local party, the state party, continue to go to national Democratic conventions and, involved with the different campaigns.
Party politics is very important, Sally.
It is. I wish more people really enjoyed it and got into the nuts and bolts and just the mechanics of a campaign.
Whichever party. I mean, you just say in general, get involved either in the Democrat, the Republican Party, either party, just get involved.
Yes. And don't complain if you don't vote.
Voting is such a critical role. Speaking of voting, our voting in the Best of the Year starts this Saturday. In the Herald's Best of the Year. Actually, we threw in Democrat of the Year as one of the categories. DemocratoftheYear.com will go live in a couple of months, and it'll be interesting to see who Myrtle Beach Herald readers vote as Democrat of the Year.
Oh, fun.
You'll be able to get a vote in there, Sally.
I don't know about that. I'm sure I know some I'd like to vote for.
Yeah. We've got Presidential Candidate of the Year and Republican of the Year and Democrat of the Year. It'll be interesting to see. We decided to go all out this year with some fun categories, letting folks get personal Philanthropist of the Year. We went ahead and threw some fun categories.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, so hopefully, aside from the nonprofit of the year, obviously the Myrtle Beach Women's Club, which I saw you've been very active with in the past.
I was former member of that.
Right, sure. Charlene Zwing had highlighted that. I saw you last Wednesday at Hilda's birthday party, and Charlene showed up, and she said, "When's the voting beginning?" So I know she's getting ready for that to roll right out again this year. So much has to happen when you get behind a campaign, whether it's on a local level or a statewide level. What are some of the things that you do, Sally, to help prepare candidates? Do you actually get involved in each candidate's campaign intimately, or do you stay yourself mostly on a global scale, helping everyone out?
No, you've got, of course, local levels, and, of course, we've got a local race coming up right soon here in 60 days. And I've got, candidates I support, and then the others that I might, really take a closer position with, advisory and helping with, and statewide as well, just depending on your role, whether you volunteer or consulting or just, there's just so many ways. And same way with even a national presidential campaign has got to then break down to a state organization and a local organization. So there's so many levels that that there's a place for you if you want to be involved.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned the local piece. Obviously, the Myrtle Beach Herald is our show sponsor, even though a lot of our viewers in the PD in southeastern North Carolina. The city of Myrtle Beach has got a big election coming up, and I think they've got, how many folks have already announced? They've got 5 folks in the ring right now. Do you remember who those 5 are?
Of course, the 3 incumbents, and then Mike Louder and Judy Rodman, who served before.
Who'd formerly been on. I think she was the mayor pro tem
served 3 times, 3 terms.
That's exciting. So a good group of folks will be in the mix this year, and that election will be held
November the 6th.
Okay, great. So that's really getting up close.
Yes. The city of Myrtle Beach has 12 precincts, and so it's a pretty easy, manageable race. And the county has just divided a couple precincts to where we've added 4 more. That Horry County has 118 precincts.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow, that's probably one of the biggest.
It is. It's very one of much at the top of the list of the largest counties. And it makes it so hard, and for the Board of Elections, and that's why we're so thrilled, both the Democratic and the Republican parties, that the state's going to fund those presidential primaries. In 2004, we had to get volunteers to work every one of those precincts.
Wow.
The Board of Elections has difficulty getting paid people to work on that many, and so it was quite a feat, but we did, and we opened every precinct.
That's amazing, Sally. How did y'all go about doing that? Just collecting that kind of volunteer support.
We just made a lot of phone calls.
Right, yes.
Of course, the papers were good to us of putting it out there that, we were searching for volunteers, so that someone out there that wanted to be a part of it, knew where to call us or to get involved.
I saw one year, Sally, and trying to get ready for this morning, that you had kicked off the Beach Gems breakfast.
Yes,
which has been very popular. Share with viewers a little bit about the Beach Gems breakfast and some of the monthly keynote speakers you've had in town.
We had a breakfast back in the 90s when I was chairman, and it was monthly, just once a month breakfast, informal gathering with a speaker. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I think when Greg McCullum was chairman, he asked me to bring that back. We're not an organized club with dues. We call ourselves the Beach Gems because we're at the beach, you know, and we meet the second Friday of each month in the back big dining room at Ackles.
Right, great.
And we do have a speaker, and I mean, we've had everyone from the local elected officials to special issues of someone that's working on something, but we always have a speaker.
Sure. Who are some of the speakers that stick out in your mind? I saw Marion Foxworth was there
Marion
recently.
Has spoken.
You get some folks that they're not all Democrats, right? Some of them are issue-driven.
Right. We've had Don Fowler from Columbia, who's a past national chair of the Democratic Party.
What a big deal.
How
was he?
He was great. We love Don, and with the history he has of Democratic politics,
get him on the show
he would be great.
Sally.
He
Check
really,
with him and see if he'd be willing to come to the beach.
I will.
We'd like that.
And we've had Jim Heath, who loves politics.
Yeah.
We've had John Jenrette.
Yes, a very gregarious guy who we had on for an hour a few years ago.
With the Stump. He came on and talked about the history and some, that was a great program.
Billy Holiday were sent in to pump up the Stump one week, which was great.
And, of course, we've had Senator Elliott. Dick Elliott's been on our one of our speakers.
Who really covers all facts. He does. I saw Muriel and Ann last week at Hilda's birthday party, and Dick was such a great interview. And, of course, one of the great things he highlighted was his service in 25 years in the House and Senate. He has never missed a day in Columbia. I don't know if you knew that, Sally. Never missed a day.
That is amazing.
Not one.
That is amazing. So, and of course, if it's an election year, in 2006, we had the complete lineup from Tommy Moore, Robert Barber, every statewide office. We are October hope to have all the candidates for city council.
Oh, good.
Come.
Great thinking. Yeah, during the month.
Our September breakfast, we will have someone from the Biden campaign.
Great. Is that right? Great. Good. How are you feeling about Joe?
I love Joe Biden, and I'm just don't understand why his numbers really can't get up any more than they are. But
he's got to be one of the best speakers I've ever heard at the Stump.
Great. He is great.
And Fritz Senator Holling's introduction was very moving for a lot of the folks that didn't know of their connection right after Joe lost his wife and daughter, I believe, wife and child in that terrible accident.
Right. Between the time of his election and then taking office, he was 29 years old.
Unbelievable. That was very moving. The efforts that Senator Hollings and his wife, Pete, went to encourage him to stick it out and actually take the seat.
They did.
Which really meant a lot. So that has kicked off well. If a viewer needs to get off now, and of course we just got a couple of minutes, Sally, what's the best way for someone to learn more about the Democratic Party, whether in Horry County or the state? Is there a good phone number to call?
There's a website.
Oh, good.
HorryDemocrats.org.
HorryDemocrats.org.
And, it's not real professional, so it's not always updated. But there's contact information and usually calendar information and also.
And the sitting chairman
it's William Goff. From over in Conway.
Not doing that anymore.
And there is a Democratic headquarters.
Is that right?
In Conway.
I didn't know that.
And the phone number there is like 488 HCDP.
Okay, good. Not to put you on the spot. I'm sure you probably don't call that a lot. Just call him on his mobile or something.
Right.
You know, when you think about all these years of involvement back to that first campaign when your husband ran for city council back, and that was up there in Concord. Ran for city. And did he ever run for any other office that you helped him out on the campaign?
No, he stayed local. In fact, his favorite line used to be, that his politics stopped at the city limits and mine picked up there.
And Sally took it on from there. That's great.
Right.
Did you ever think about running for office, Sally, working behind the scenes? Does that ever get folks who are working behind the scenes interested in helping on the front end?
Some might, but usually you're one or the other. And I just am most comfortable on the behind-the-scenes side and helping be a part of shaping things, but that really don't want to run for office.
Who was the biggest inspiration for you at an early age, Sally, when you first got involved and thinking about getting involved? Was it your mother there, talking about her involvement there?
Well, that probably was an early prompt of such, but I think as far as after getting involved in politics, that Governor Jim Hunt, watching him in action and knowing the kind of person he was and what he believed in and all, he just sort of made the measuring stick for what I saw in a statesman.
Folks. I know a lot of North Carolinians had trouble with his defeat back in '84 when he ran against another native of not far from Concord, Monroe, I believe.
Yes,
Jesse Helms,
old Jesse.
Which tough to conquer. Senator Helms, as Nick Galifianakis found back in 472.
Yeah, it's a long list that Jesse.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, that is exciting, Sally. Well, good luck with the stump in May, and congratulations again with your recent statewide recognition there in the Hall of Fame Award.
Sure.
Thanks so much for being with us. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Sally Howard coming up next. I bet you some governor in the history of North Carolina has bestowed the highest honor that could be given to a civilian in the state of North Carolina on a mother of two and a grandmother of two. But I bet never has a governor bestowed one on a woman named Bunny. Never happened. How about that affectionate term that her grandchildren came up with? You think about that. What are you going to name a child? But there's a lot that goes into what a grandchild or a daughter-in-law or a son or a son-in-law are going to name his or her child's grandmother. A lot has to happen there. And Bunny was the one. You think about those experiences for Sally back in her mid to late 20s, helping to manage a campaign for somebody who was even her husband back there in 71. Think about those early stages and that great line about his service stopped there at the city limits and hers started. She went on to have a dramatic impact on the state of North Carolina, not only on women, but on crossing both male and female, and of course crossing party lines as well. We think about folks that get active in one party, but they still make a difference on all parties. The first words out of her mouth this morning: get involved, whether as a Democrat or as a Republican. Just get involved, and your vote counts. You got to make a difference in America by taking the time to get out there on voting day, on election day, and making sure to use your power as a citizen by getting the vote out. Sally Howard, making a difference every day.